Leeds United 3, Tottenham Hotspur 1, but Janusz Michallik, what a game of football.
It certainly was, Mark. This is what Premier League is all about, isn't it? I mean, absolutely wonderful attacking football, which I think we all like. Crosses, chances, goals, a little bit of VAR controversy as well. 2 or 3 goals that were disallowed and yet were well taken, even if you take that into consideration. So really, I mean, all that was missing there, I think, were fans at Ellen Road, weren't they? The wonderful Leeds supporters that would certainly enjoy this performance. The only things missing other than that, probably Gareth Bale.
Yeah, he didn't really show up. Look, this is about Leeds. We'll get to Spurs shortly. That's them up to 9th in the table at the time of recording, just after the game. What has been the secret of their success this season?
Well, clearly it's Marcelo Bielsa. There's no questions about that. This team only knows how to play one way, and usually it's spot on. Yes, there are times that they may be naive and maybe lack a little bit of pragmatism, right? Everybody has said that, but if you have a philosophy, you stick with it. I mean, look where they are, top half of the table. They've been absolutely wonderful against everyone. They're not playing with fear, right? I think they haven't been defeated at home by the so-called top 6 at all seasons, and you know, so they've had so much success, and I suppose. If you look at their entrance to the Premier League, it couldn't really be any better. Top half, as we've said, in the table.
High intensity, high tempo. And the other thing I've noticed that I don't see from many teams, from set plays, they go really long a lot of the time and they attack the back post to bring it back in. That's not something you see very often from other teams.
Well, look, and also I think they understand their strengths and weaknesses. One thing is talk about their intensity and you know, how they press, because they do press all over the pitch. It's not just the high press that, you know, we always talk about, but, you know, their wide game is exceptional. Jack Harrison, man of the match for me. I mean, he's done such a great job. His crosses, of course, one of the goals came from that. His work ethic is superb. Look at Stuart Dallas. I mean, is there a position other than a goalkeeper that he hasn't played? 8 goals for him. I mean, just recently had 2 against Man City, and again pops up on the far post. So many here is Patrick Bamford. You know, you look at him, 15 goals. You say to yourself, how many teams are out there are missing a number 9, proper number 9, that not only scores goals, but is intelligent enough to know where to be exactly at the right time or bring others into the game as well. So look, I suppose a lot of the teams may be looking at somebody like Patrick Bamford. So so many years, even the young Melier, by the way, both goalkeepers as well were tremendous. Hugo Lloris was good and Melier as well. So yeah, I mean, there's so much good about Leeds United. It's maybe just that, you know, sometimes in certain games, maybe just think we're in a good position. We don't need to attack anymore. We don't need to score more goals. So, you know, but that comes with time.
It's also in their DNA. So a thoroughly deserved win for Leeds. Now, Tottenham Hotspur. Leicester on Friday opened the door, losing at home to Newcastle. So Spurs fail to go and win at Leeds and are beaten by 3-1. So there's a 5-point gap, and that could be even more by the end of the weekend for Spurs. Champions League football is not looking good next season, is it?
No, and it was, you know, I don't know if I truly believe that it was, even had they won, but I think, you know, there would have been in a fight. It's over. No questions about that. I think, you know, you look at the season, I think Jose Mourinho has done a lot of damage there. Let's be honest. I mean, he really has. And I don't know how much these players believe. Ryan Mason came in, couple good results. Gareth Bale started to play. But, you know, I mean, hat-trick against Sheffield United, you saw what happens against a well-organized team, tough, good defensively, players that will stick to you. I mean, we didn't see him at all really in the game today. Harry Kane, of course, he was good, you know, a couple of goals, even though they didn't count, but he was always in the thick of things, hit the crossbar, and it was good. Son with his goal, the normal stuff. You have the players, but as a team, just lacking that little belief, especially when it gets tough. And I don't think it gets any tougher than playing Leeds. So look, I think if you look at Leeds and you look ahead, they'd be wise to maybe try to entice somebody like Marcelo Bielsa. Look, I mean, he'd be perfect for this, for Spurs. An organizer, of course, one of those managers that makes players better. Players attacking football, which Spurs fans want and miss from Pochettino, I suppose. And I think a manager that knows how to work with a budget. So that's also important at Spurs and Daniel Levy. So, sorry, Leeds fans, I don't want him to go for you, but I mean, it's a manager that if I'm Daniel Levy, I really, really would try to have a go at.
Something you mentioned in that last answer, and I want to touch on, a manager that makes players better. For me, one of the best at doing that out there is Brendan Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take Bielsa over Brendan Rodgers?
Oh, yeah, tough one. And first of all, for Bielsa, I don't know if London is a speed, to be honest, But yeah, either or. Look, I'm not going to sit here and spend a minute try to justify which manager is better. Both are great, even with Leicester City losing to Newcastle the other day. They both make players better. I think Brendan Rodgers probably has that little bit more of an, different philosophy, I suppose. But it's a tough one. I think Spurs would have been fine with either.
Would you stick with someone who knows the Premier League, or would you go on to the continent or maybe elsewhere if you were Daniel Levy to try and get your next manager?
You always try to get the best manager available, I suppose. I mean, yes, if Brendan Rodgers all of a sudden would want to go to Spurs, and I do believe that if Spurs offered Brendan Rodgers, he would go. No questions about that. He's going, even though he loves Leicester, he's done a great job and all of that. But he wants to be back at the highest level. He was there once with Liverpool. Who knows? He probably would love to be back at Chelsea at some point. It's not going to happen anytime soon, obviously, with the way Tuchel's playing. So he would go. If Bielsa, you can entice him, why not? And, that's your first pick, somebody within the league, as you said, that understands it. But we've seen in terms of Klopp and Tuchel and many others that, if you have that quality, you look at the best manager possible.
Let's end with Harry Kane. Now, no Champions League football next season. If that is the case, he's one of the best strikers in the world. He wants to be playing at the highest level. If that's not possible, despite the fact he loves the club, would you think he might be saying to his agent, can you see what else is out there? Or do you think it's Spurs for him and nothing else?
No, look, he owes it to himself. Forget everybody else. He's done everything and then some for Spurs, right? And he's got to look after himself. The career is absolutely short. And I think all Spurs supporters will be probably okay with it. He can always come back. Look at Gareth Bale, right? I mean, he's left. He's got every trophy that's possible in European football. And he's back right now. And you could make a case that Harry Kane has done just as much, if not more, I think, for Spurs than Gareth Bale has done. And you can also make a case that he's as good as him, certainly, in my opinion, probably a better pro, at least in terms of injuries and all that longevity. So yeah, he has to think about himself first, because he's done everything possible, just about, short of winning, but nobody has done that for Tottenham. So I would go, and likely he will go.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.